Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, you know that feeling, right? That just heavy sinking feeling.
Oh, yeah.
You've got this massive goal in front of you, this huge change you want to make, but you feel completely, well, immobilized.
Totally stuck.
And when you stop and think, okay, why am I stuck? The first things that come to mind are always like the external stuff.
Right, the list.
Yeah, the list. I don't have enough time, don't have the money, I don't know the right people, or I'm just, waiting for some kind of magic lightning strike of luck.
It's what we all do. We focus on what's outside, but really, it's often a misdirection. It's a way of not looking at the real issue.
Which is?
Well, if you peel back all those layers, you usually find that the deepest, most fundamental problem isn't logistical at all. It's an internal thing, a lack of self-belief that just acts like an anchor, dragging you down.
Okay, let's really unpack that because the split there is so painful. I mean, you could have a phenomenal career. You could be getting all this applause and approval from the outside. Your mentors, your colleagues, they're all telling you, you're ready, go for it.
But inside,
If that quiet little whisper is just constantly saying, I'm a fraud, or I can't do this, or I'm just going to fail, then making that leap feels paralyzing.
Yeah.
The outside world just stops mattering.
it's true. All that external applause is just noise if the person running your inner world, which is you, is convinced the whole thing's about to crumble.
So that's what we're here to talk about.
Yes, we're here to talk about building that inner architecture of, well, personal power. The whole mission is to figure out what is that path to building inner strength, because that's where all the real change begins.
I think we have to start by just, challenging this myth about where self-belief even comes from.
Absolutely.
Culture kind of sells it as this like magic formula or a switch you just flip one day, you wake up and bam, you're ready for anything.
Which is such a dangerous fantasy.
It is. Because then when you fail, you think, oh, I just didn't have the magic. Instead of understanding that you didn't have the process.
It is absolutely a sustained process, not a formula. Belief isn't something that's just, given to you. It's earned slowly.
Oh.
Well, we confuse confidence, which is sort of that external feeling based on things going well, with what's really happening inside, which is self-efficacy. That core belief that you can learn, you can adapt, no matter what happened yesterday.
So it actually grows from the failures.
It grows specifically by falling down, and this is the crucial part, by paying attention to how you got back up. It grows by making mistakes and realizing, I didn't shatter into a million pieces.
And that's where the perspective has to shift, right? Away from just looking for validation.
Exactly.
I mean, you look at anyone who's ever changed the world, the real innovators. They weren't always the strongest or the smartest or the best funded.
No, not at all.
They were the ones who were just driven by this internal goal of mastery.
Yeah.
They focused on the effort, on the learning, not on just, getting applause or avoiding failure.
That is the whole psychological engine right there.
Yeah.
When someone tells that person, that's impossible, their response isn't, oh, okay, it's, I'll try, I'll see where it breaks.
I'll learn from it.
I'll learn from it. And then when they hit a wall, they don't see it as some final judgment on who they are. They just double down and say, okay, I'll still try, because the learning itself is the prize. That is the only thing that works long term.
So when you actually manage to build that kind of deep internal belief, what happens? How does life, stop feeling like such a fight?
It's a huge shift in where you feel your control comes from. You start making decisions based on how you think other people see you, always trying to manage their expectations.
And instead,
your actions start being guided just by your own self-perception, by your own integrity. And all those external obstacles, the stones on the path, they stop looking like these giant roadblocks.
they just become
data points or, things you step over, because what's inside you is stronger than what's outside.
This all sounds amazing in theory, but what does it really require of us? We've said it's not perfection. It's not being relentlessly optimistic.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking at myself honestly, I see flaws. I see real shortcomings, huge mistakes I've made. How do you square belief with reality?
That's a brilliant question, because it's a fine line between radical acceptance and just, giving up.
Right, stagnation.
The key is to pair honesty with a very specific tool. Self-compassion. Self-belief isn't about pretending your flaws don't exist. It's about making a profound peace with them. The goal is never to be perfect. That's a trap. It's to be real.
But how do we know the difference? I mean, where is the line between making peace with my flaws and just settling for less than I'm capable of?
It's all about your intention. Settling means you've given up because you think you're fundamentally incapable of changing.
This is just who I am.
Exactly. This is just me. But self-compassion is different. It's accepting that you made a mistake, but not that you are the mistake.
Okay.
You look at your weaknesses honestly, you accept that you're human, and you can still say, and say it loud enough for that inner critic to hear, I am valuable and I am committed to getting better. That commitment is the difference.
So really, the true test of self-belief isn't what you can do on a good day.
No.
It's what you do the morning after everything went completely wrong.
Precisely. It's that ability to get back up and try again, even if you failed completely, maybe even publicly. That resilience is what shows you believe in the process of your life, not just in a single outcome.
We have to replace that punishing inner voice.
We have to. We need powerful, actionable self-talk.
So let's get into that. What does that actually sound like? It's not just think positive, right? We need phrases that can fight back against those automatic negative thoughts.
Yeah, this is about cognitive restructuring. When that old script pops up, I'm not good enough, you need immediate, grounded replacements ready to go.
Like what?
Like looking yourself in the eye and internalizing these facts, telling yourself, I am sufficient for this moment.
For this moment, not forever, just right now.
Just right now. I can walk this path one step at a time. I am stronger with every step. And maybe the most liberating one of all. This life belongs to me too. I deserve to be here.
What makes those phrases work, though? Is it just repeating them over and over?
It's more than just a mantra. You're actually creating new neural pathways that validate your right to exist. You're fighting back against years, maybe decades, of internalized criticism.
So when I say, I am sufficient,
You are actively challenging the thought that says, I'm not enough. You're forcing your brain to see what you have right now instead of what you lack. You're moving from being a passive victim to an active agent in your own life. You're providing evidence for your own defense.
and that leads us perfectly into the next layer here, which is self-love.
Yes.
Because as soon as you say that phrase self-love, a lot of people just recoil. They think it means selfishness or narcissism or, putting yourself first in a bad way.
It's the deepest and most damaging misunderstanding. Self-love is the complete opposite of selfishness.
How so?
It's the practice of internal compassion. It's being willing to look at your own wounds, to treat them gently, and to affirm your own value by saying, hey, I'm valuable too, just like all the people I try to care for.
And there's a connection to how we treat others.
There's a direct connection. True, sustainable compassion and generosity for other people can only flow from a place where you show that same care to yourself. If you're always running on empty, always pouring from an empty cup, what you give to others won't last.
I think we need to just pause on that for a second, that image of looking in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
We're so often kinder to a total stranger than we are to that face looking back at us. And when you think about what that face has been through, all the storms, the words it had to swallow, the times it was broken and had to put itself back together again.
Right.
That resilience is not something to be taken lightly. It really commands respect.
Absolutely. And you have to stop wasting all that energy hiding your flaws. Just try to understand them.
Where they came from.
Yes. Why did you build that wall? Once you understand that, you can start to take it down brick by brick. Your flaws don't make you incomplete. They just make you human. They make you relatable.
It's fascinating because self-love sounds like this huge abstract thing.
Yeah.
But it really just boils down to a very simple choice you make every day.
It really does. It's the choice you make every single morning. Am I going to be on my own side today? It means telling yourself, I'm here with you no matter what, even if everyone else walks away. That internal self-hug is the greatest gift. It makes you independent.
And so much of our world is built around chasing the opposite, right? Chasing external approval, likes on social media, validation from a boss or a partner.
Yes.
But what you're saying is we need to live from our own inner voice, not from the volume of the cheers outside.
Yeah. Exactly. Your quiet belief in yourself is enough. It has to be the standard. You have to stop searching for your value out there because the most precious thing you own is already inside you. If you've lost it, you just have to go on an expedition to find it again.
And when you start living from that place of self-love, the results aren't just a feeling, they're tangible. You see them in your life.
The practical benefits are profound, and they're immediate. For one thing, you get so much clearer about your boundaries.
Because you respect yourself more.
Because you respect your own space and energy, so your no becomes firm, but it's calm. You don't feel guilty saying it. You protect your time, your energy, because you know your own resources matter.
Give us another practical example of how this shows up.
Well, you apologize way less often.
For what?
For just existing, or for things that aren't even your fault. You stop making yourself smaller to make other people feel bigger, and that word no becomes a tool not for resistance, but for self-preservation.
And you can probably see more clearly who's really on your side.
Oh, absolutely, because you know what real support and respect feels like. You give it to yourself first. So when someone violates that, it's not confusing, it's just clear.
And that really is the ultimate freedom, isn't it? You're not just reacting to the world anymore. You're living by your own light instead of asking other people to shine theirs on you.
You stop being a ship tossed around on the waves. You become your own compass. You set your own true north.
Which means a compass eventually has to point backward,
Right.
to the past, because that's where the inner critic gets so much of its ammunition.
We absolutely have to go there. This is where you apply that self-compassion to your younger self. You have to be kind to that person.
That's hard to do.
It is, but you have to recognize this idea of temporal distance. The decisions you made back then were the absolute best decisions you could have made as the person you were at that time, with what you knew, with the tools you had.
We hold ourselves to such an impossible standard. We judge our past selves with the wisdom we only got because we made those mistakes.
Exactly. You have to learn to separate the action from your identity. The action might have been a mistake, sure, but that doesn't make you a mistake. Forgive yourself. Acknowledge the lesson, hold your head high, and know you are worthy of love right now. You have to give yourself that amnesty.
So if we tie this all together, the self-belief, the self-love, the self-forgiveness, what does that mean for our ultimate goal of just finding some inner peace?
It means that inner peace isn't something the world just gives you. It's a reciprocal deal. When you finally make peace with yourself on the inside, when you can say every day, you are good as you are and I'm on your side, life eventually offers that peace back to you. The inner calm always comes before the outer calm.
If you're at war with yourself, you find the world is at war with you.
That's it.
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
So just to sum up the key ideas we've covered.
Mm-hmm.
First, you are the architect of your own miracle. It's about persistent self-belief, not about waiting for permission.
Mm-hmm.
And second, the most critical relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. And that needs active, daily self-love and compassion.
And if we can leave you with one final thought to really chew on today, let it be this. An unbelieved dream can never, ever be realized. But a believed dream has to grow inside you, quietly, before you ever take the first step.
So the question is,
If you are truly the architect of your life, what magnificent, impossible-seeming dream are you refusing to build simply because you haven't given yourself permission to believe it can grow? You're already holding the blueprint.
it's time to stop waiting for permission and time to start building. Thank you for diving deep with us today. Go give yourself that hug.